I began realizing through dating younger men that I was encountering an issue that would quite honestly never have crossed my mind if I'd not encountered it very intimately and personally. I realized I was encountering what happens when two things converge, when today's total freedom of access to hardcore porn online meets our society's equally total reluctance to talk openly and honestly about sex, and results in porn becoming by default the sex education today in not a good way. Many of us, if we're fortunate, are born into families and environments where our parents bring us up to have good manners, a work ethic, a sense of responsibility, accountability. Nobody ever brings us up to behave well in bed, but they should, because generosity, sensitivity, empathy, kindness are as important there as they are in every other area of our lives and work where we are actively taught to exercise those values. So 8 years ago, I put up on no money a tiny clunky website at makelovenotporn.com that posts the myths of hardcore porn and balances them with reality. So the construct is porn world versus real world. Our tagline at Make Love Not Porn is pro-sex, pro-porn, pro-knowing the difference. And our entire mission is purely and simply to help make it easier to talk about sex. We don't talk about sex in the real world, and therefore we have no socially acceptable vocabulary with which to do so. In a male-dominated industry, the language of porn is predominantly male-generated. So the person who coined the term finger blasting didn't have a vagina. Because if you hear the term finger blasting, if you have a vagina, you want to cross your legs. The person who coined the term getting her ass railed never got his ass railed. Pounding, banging, slamming, wrecking, destroying, all terms created by people who did not possess the soft internal tissue to which those things are being done. We tag our videos completely differently to the usual porn drop-down menu of anal, Asian, hairy, cream pie, whatever. We tag our videos with terms like juicy, succulent. Our term for oral is downtown. Our tag for anal is deliberately derived from the recipient's experience of anal. We tag our anal sex videos, ow, 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 hey now. I designed our business model at Make Love Not Porn to be the complete opposite of the porn industry's business model. So in porn, whether you are a relative newbie or one of the world's most famous porn stars, you are only ever paid by the scene. And the pay scale for a scene will range from a few $100s at the bottom end, all the way to, again, whether you are one of the most famous porn stars in the world, it tops out, it maxes out at about, $1,000 to $2,000 a scene. Maximum, okay? That scene will then go on to be viewed, and I use this numeric advisedly, trillions of times on Brazzers, Naughty America, Pornhub, whatever. The porn stars in it will never see a cent from any of those views. There are no residuals in porn. Porn stars do not possess sufficient agency. So when you're a porn star, you will be filmed for a scene that you have contracted for, you're paid this much money for. That scene will go off and be marketed and merchandised in a way that you have absolutely no control over. So however you feel about that scene, you cannot control the fact that it will go off and you will become cum dumpster slut 75, fucking gagging for, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that is not just the way that you would like to be portrayed, but that is the way you will be portrayed. It is utterly ludicrous that there are only two categories of female performer in porn, teen and MILF. Real-world sex videos of Make Love Not Porn are not about performing for the camera. They're simply about doing what you do on every other social platform, which is capturing what goes on in the real world as it happens in all its funny, messy, glorious, silly, beautiful, wonderful humanness. We curate, watch everybody to make sure it's real, don't publish it unless it is, and we have a revenue sharing business model. So part of the sharing economy, like Uber and Airbnb, you pay to rent and stream real-world sex videos, and then 50% of that income goes to our contributors, or as we like to call them, our Make Love Not Porn stars. And even in our tiny bootstrapping incarnation, a number of our Make Love Not Porn stars are making 4 figures at each payout. Every piece of business infrastructure, any other tech startup can at least take for granted. We can't, because the small print always says no adult content. And this is all pervasive across everything in ways that people outside the sphere do not realize. I can't get funded. I can't get banked. I can't find a bank anywhere in the world that will allow me to open a business bank account for a business that does what we do. Our biggest operational challenge is payment processing. PayPal won't work with us. Mainstream credit card processors won't. Every single piece of tech service the terms of service always say no adult content. Hosting, Amazon Web Services won't host us. We have to go to the people at the top of the business and beg to be allowed to work with them. We had to build our entire video streaming and video sharing platform from scratch ourselves. And I've been trying to raise the funding we need for the past 1.5 years and not succeeding. Our single biggest obstacle raising funding is the social dynamic that I call fear of what other people will think. It is never what the person I'm talking to thinks. When you understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, nobody can argue with it. The business case is clear. It is always their fear of what they think other people will think, which operates around sex more than any other area. Amateur porn is the biggest growth sector out there. It has nothing to do with porn. It's because everybody wants to know what everybody else is really doing in bed, and nobody does. But now they can, because now at Make Love Not Porn, we have created a real-world sex window through which you can see how other people have sex in the real world, really.